So let me ask you this. So watching the NFL Combine, so I've sent guys to the Combine for last 15 years.
Okay.
And as a coach, we all have our little strategies, techniques to be better at this test and that test. Well, the NFL got really good about 4 or 5 years ago at cracking down on how the vertical jump was being measured. And what you happened to see that specific year was a very stringent and more standardized way at which they took the original reach height. However, the problem is that those numbers now were no longer relevant to the numbers of years before. So I think what had happened is you saw linebackers jumping with 30-inch verticals. You saw the highest vertical jump that year at the Combine was a 38, and normally you have 42s, 43s. Well, it changed the way those numbers were perceived. The next year, they weren't as strict on that because the 30-inch vertical jump or the 28-inch vertical jump for a running back, boy, that's not good.
Correct.
When we looked at the data that we had for the last 20 years, and so now you change the way you do a reach height. So I guess my point is, how important is it to have the same person testing you time and time again to have a following of standardized procedures?
Very important, because the thing about it is every time you test, there's always going to be some variable, especially if you have different people testing. And that's why we try to always, we always try to present that we want our staff, our staff, because our staff knows how to do it. But not everybody can afford that all the time, which we understand. But at least they're taking the measures to do it correctly, which refers to the biggest thing at the NFL Combine, right? Nothing changes. They're very much usually the same people every single time. Even the security guards on the field don't change.
Right.
It's the same guy every single year when you walk down the stairs. And that's what I say is the problem that the NFL always had, and it's the same thing that they do right now, is what's being introduced, and which is the system we use is a hand start with electronic finish with electronic start with electronic finish. And then in the NFL's never done it that way. They've always been hand start with electronic finish, which plays effect. You know what I mean? And it's exactly what you said is how do we go back to all that data before to say Chris Johnson wasn't the fastest guy ever at the NFL Combine? We can't. If we do switch it. So exactly what you're saying is that's why it kind of switched up with the vertical is, all right, hey, we want these numbers to make them compete with the years past so we can really keep the true data line. So, like I said, that's a tough place to change it, but at some point it should. That's my thought.